Welcome to Beyond the Riverwalk, the local weekly podcast that brings San Antonio's most remarkable people, places, and events directly to you. All links discussed will be in the show notes, so sit back, relax, and join Kevin and Melissa Barron as they ask the questions that you would. Now, let's get the conversation started.
Well, welcome back, everyone. This is Beyond the Riverwalk, and I am Kevin, and joining me again is my wife, Melissa.
He's taking all my lines. Yes.
I like to cut her off before she can say that she's been married to me for 25 years.
Hi, everyone.
So, Melissa and I are back. The last couple of episodes and that you've seen, we have some bonus stuff. There's either been me or Melissa, but not both of us. So, one way or another, for better or for worse, not to use a funny story, for better or for worse, so we are back together.
Well, that sounds like we were apart. That's
we weren't
not
apart.
right.
We were podcasting separately.
Yes.
Separately and independently.
Yes.
But this is a fun, I think will be a fun special episode. We have got, for the first time ever, a kind of Halloweenish themed episode. And we have some great folks joining us. The folks from, you want to go there and introduce? Melissa's been asking, she's wanting to introduce this. So
Bad Wolf Ghost Tours.
she wanted to do a voice. Is that a voice?
No, it's not a voice, but you told me not to do it. So now
right, so
I just
anyway.
lost my nerve.
We've got the folks who run Bad Wolf Ghost Tours with us. So they are joining us now. Hey, guys, y'all there?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hi,
All
how
right.
are you guys?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us. This has been one of those things that we've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm really appreciative that you guys have had time and can connect with us. I can't even talk. Maybe I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the stories we're going to hear tonight. I don't know what the deal is. I'm a little bit of a ninny.
It's all the go.
I think it might be. Well,
Harken back to Scooby-Doo, you know.
Well, before we go too far, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what is Bad Wolf Ghost Tours.
I'm Wolf Holtz. This is my wife.
My name is Alex Holtz.
And we own Bad Wolf Ghost Tours. We've been in operation since April of 2014. And we were the first haunted pub crawl in the entire state of Texas, along with a lot of other really great tours in San Antonio.
Well,
I just married into the tour business, so I've been been in for about a year now.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. That's relatively recent. Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed was that you guys are like the number one rated out there on, I think it's on TripAdvisor and other places. So you guys have quite a reputation for doing an amazing job. So what is it that you do and where do you do it?
We have several different tours. Most of them are all downtown. Probably our flagship every day of the week tour is the San Antonio Ghost Walk. And that one starts right now. It starts at Moses Rose's Hideout downtown. That's really close to the Alamo. And we'll walk to 13 different haunted locations downtown, tell you the history and hauntings. It takes an hour and a half. That one is family friendly. We also do the haunted pub crawl. That was the first haunted pub crawl in the state of Texas. Goes to 4 different haunted bars with drink specials at all 4 bars, and does tell you the history and hauntings there as well. We also do the only ghost tour through the Victoria's Black Swan Inn, which is 15 minutes north of downtown, and was on Ghost Adventures.
Wow. So how do you find these places?
A lot of really hard research. Just boots on the ground, never putting up, missing an opportunity. If someone says, hey, I heard a ghost story about this place, well, tell me all you know. That way I can use that information to find another reference, find it in an old book, find it anywhere, and just find every bit of information I can, and then boil that all down into something you think is not only accurate, but a really good story.
Yeah, because part of it is the entertainment, but part of it is, facts that you learn about the history of the place and wherever it is you're going. So let's back up a little bit for both of you guys. What's your interest or personal interest in ghost stories and the history and hauntings and stuff like that? Is this something you guys have always been interested in from, childhood to now, or is it more recent?
Yeah, for me, I was always a skeptic, and I was kind of upset that we didn't get really cool stuff like Bigfoot or fairies. You know, there's no real evidence to that. But there might have been some evidence to the paranormal. So I started investigating, and I more and more found that, hey, there's something to this, and you can find evidence if you look hard enough.
And I'm Hispanic, and I'm not native to San Antonio, but I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, so we have a lot of ghost stories down there. La Llorona is very important in what our parents tell to scare us. And so I've always loved ghosts and everything. And so when I came to San Antonio and I found some pretty cool haunted places, it was really fun to explore. And then I met somebody who actually owned a ghost tour company, so it just kind of worked out perfectly.
So y'all met. So the ghost introduced y'all. So the ghost introduced y'all, basically.
He actually, yeah, let's say the ghost introduced us.
Yeah.
One of my...
Yeah, I always felt...
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I always tell people, we met at a karaoke bar, and she really didn't want to talk to me at all. But I was like, hey, let me buy you a drink. She was like, okay. So I think the ghost tour thing is one of the things that got her talking to me. So.
Well, there you go. Whatever works on the beginning, that's for sure. Melissa and I have known each other. I was in 7th grade. Sixth grade? Oh, my gosh. And Melissa's many, many, many years older than me.
I am 3 years older than you, Mr. 50 this year.
Yeah, so we met. We met, and I bugged the daylights out of her as a friend of her younger brothers.
They're the same age, by the way.
Yeah, we are. But anyway, it was fun and still fun to be younger. That's I appreciate that.
And he still bugs the crap out of me.
That's right. Still does.
But I love it.
Oh man. So the when I think about ghost stories and things like that, one of the things I think about all the time, because one of my guilty pleasures out there is Coast to Coast AM, the radio show. And when I tell people that, they either look at me like I'm crazy or they look at me like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Either way, they do a Halloween thing every year called Ghost to Ghost, and they have people call in and talk about ghost stories and things that they've experienced. And like Melissa was saying, what have you guys experienced? What have you personally experienced, either on the tours or just in life?
Really quick, though, I wanted to say that I love that show, too. And there is a Spanish version called ManoPalooza, which is basically just from the Spanish radio station, and they tell ghost stories and supernatural things. So I think it's really cool, and that other people know about Coast to Coast, because I love it. But,
oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as ghost stories and such, I mean, I've got a lot I could tell. But just to give you an example of what you're going to see the most if you're going to investigate, and you could do this really easy. One of the pieces of evidence that really got me really, really intrigued was a few friends of mine went and did an investigation in a graveyard, and we were just playing around. We got our iPhones out, and we found this old graveyard in Cibolo. That was all old stones. The graves all seem to be from the early 1700s. So very, very old graveyard. There was a portion of the graveyard that only, it seemed, who were under 13. And we were doing an EVP session. That's electronic voice phenomena. It's really simple to do. You speak into a voice recorder and ask some questions. You can even use your iPhone. You are very silent during this process in the spaces between questions. And then when you play it back, there's sometimes answers to your questions in the whispers of the white noise. Well, I happened to be operating the recorder at the time. It was just an iPhone. And I said, is anyone in here with us? Tell us your name. And we played the tape back, and we heard, is anyone in here with us? Tell us your name. Who are you? And it was really, really cool because EVPs are graded on 2 spectrums, 1 through 3 in crispness. Can you actually hear what they're saying properly? Or is it not like, oh, somebody thinks they're saying get out and somebody else thinks they're saying come over here? and the other rating is 1 through 3 in loudness. And it was very soft. It was maybe only a 1 in loudness, but it was a 3 in crispness, because everyone who heard it said the exact same thing without being prompted. It was asking, "Who are you?" And I was like, that's a very cool piece of evidence.
All right, you just made me shudder.
Yeah, and you said, I was thinking that was really, and I was going to fill in the blank and say creepy, and you said cool. So there is a slight difference, I guess, in my approach to those kind of investigations. I was thinking how I could use that tactic, though, in terms of I would like to get a new Mustang convertible, and maybe I could talk to someone that would say yes. And if you could point me in the right direction, that would be great. There's got to be some ghost out there that would tell me yes. Melissa's shaking her head.
There's a building downtown. I don't know exactly how to tell you where it is. It's kind of behind the Alamo. Unfortunately, Ivy Taylor okayed it to be turned into a hotel. But it's a hotel now. It used to be the second location of the first Ford Model T dealership and factory here in San Antonio.
Wow.
And if you were looking for a ghost that wants you to buy a Mustang, I think that's a place to start.
There's someone put that on the map. Google that one, Melissa.
No.
Oh, well, I missed it for my 50th, or I might have to wait till my 100th. Who knows? Oh, gosh. So that was a really cool story. And I guess what do people tell you when they do the tours? Because obviously they're in it for the entertainment, like we said, for facts and learning about the city. But when they do the tours, what stories have you heard from them? Are people coming at it from a curiosity standpoint, or are they really looking to investigate things, or what?
A little bit of both. We do get a lot of, it's always husbands that are always dragged around by wives, who the wives are interested and the husbands are skeptics, you know?
Oh, really? Okay.
And then at the end, by the end of the tour, I always go back to them and I'm like, hey, well, I don't want to change it from being a skeptic, but was it at least interesting? They're like, oh yeah. So the history, even if I didn't believe in the paranormal aspect, the history was very cool. And that's what I'll tell people is, if you are new to a city or you just want to learn more, start with a ghost tour, because we're going to tell you the pieces of history that aren't going to be totally politically correct, easy for people to swallow, like the daytime tours or the riverboat tours. There's actually going to be some meat to our stories, you know.
Though we did really get a really cool story from one of our tour guides this past weekend about a gentleman who was super skeptic, right? What did Laura say?
Oh, yeah. Somebody ended up coming on our haunted pub crawl last Saturday. And it was his wife had dragged him along. And he was like, I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in anything paranormal. He was so skeptic. He was the hardcore atheist, right? And he had an experience in the bathroom in which the handle of the sink turned itself on full blast before he could reach for it. And as he looked up into the mirror, he saw a figure behind him in the mirror. As he turned around, he saw a shadow out of the corner of his eye, and then it disappeared. There was no one in the restroom with him. He came to my tour guide in tears. He said he'd been forever changed. He was a full believer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Jeez, Sam. I think I'd skip washing my hands on that. Yeah. I'd find me some hand cleaner somewhere, some sanitizer, I guess. Oh, my gosh.
That experience, I've actually had something similar to that happen to me downtown, where before you get to the sink, the handle will turn itself on and the water will start going full blast. I've had that happen to a number of people who I haven't told stories like that to. It's totally non-connected. The reason I think it may happen is because essentially ghosts are thought to be displaced energy. And when that energy builds up, they can do things like footsteps or call a name or something. But what's a great conductor for energy? Water and metal.
Yeah.
So those sinks and those pipes are just conducting that paranormal energy, I believe.
Well, at least it's water and not blood.
Oh, gosh. This is where she goes.
I'm sorry. This is what's been in, on TV and stuff.
You've been watching The Shining, haven't you?
Believe it or not, I can't believe. No, I've never watched The Shining.
She's never seen it,
and I don't intend to see it.
We talked to Adam Roca with the San Antonio Film Festival a while back, and we were talking about this movie and how cool, Kubrick did a lot of things, a lot of symbols and, symbolism and all repeated scenes and stuff that he does in there. And we were going on about it. And Melissa's like, I've never seen that movie. It's like, oh gosh, you have to see this. It's a creepy, and I haven't seen it in years, but it's a creepy movie. And I still don't know that I completely understand it. But I think when people watch it, they go back and they may think about some of the stuff that you're describing. It's like there's things that actually appear to occur. There's, just this feelings you get that are a little weird. And it's from various different time frames. And I don't know. The one thing one of the things I was curious about to ask y'all about is, we talked a little bit about where you find things and stories and hearing from other people. But what are some of the places that you found to be just particularly interesting, or places that, absolutely have to be on the tour, even if you move things around?
There are two. Alex's favorite is the Emily Morgan, right, baby?
Yes. My favorite is the Emily Morgan because of everything that happened there. And when they converted it from a hospital to a hotel, it's just amazing.
Yeah, the Emily Morgan was finished construction in 1926 and was an operating hospital all the way up until 1984. And when they converted it from a hospital to a hotel, they wanted to keep everything as historic as they could, and they used every piece of the old hospital in the making of the new hotel. So they did things that are so extreme. For instance, there was a crematorium in the hospital. They kept the original pilot light and rerouted the pilot light from the basement to the lobby where the fireplace is now. And so now the hotel fireplace is lit by the cremation fire.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Really?
Not only that, but guests would complain about hearing squeaking down their hallways sometimes, like a gurney was being pushed down their hallways. Well, the gurney thing is actually really interesting with this hotel, because when they were reusing all of those historic pieces, they took all the metal gurneys, they melted it all down into sheets. They used those metal gurney sheets to line the outdoor swimming pool on the second floor. You can actually still see the welding marks where they stuck the gurney sheets together. So every time you go swimming with in the Emily Morgan, you're swimming with those dead bodies.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea about this. I mean, I didn't know it was a hospital to start with in the first place, and let alone that it was operating that recently. Wow.
By 1984, it was primarily a maternity ward for birthing babies.
Okay.
But
that's
a while, yeah.
That's a really big building.
Yeah. It was. There was even surgeries. There was gastrointestinal surgeries were a big one. Dentistry was a big one there.
Well, a lot of screaming with dentistry, that's for sure.
That building is actually haunted.
So the Emily Morgan.
There's even a rumor.
Wow.
Yeah, there's even a rumor that Emily Morgan herself haunts the building. Of course, she died well before the building was erected, but people do claim to see an apparition on the stairs that is described to look the way Emily Morgan, the beautiful yellow rose of Texas, was described to have looked.
Wow. We've never been in there, and we got to check that out.
We're not going to check it out.
There goes that.
You can go on the tour. I'm going to SeaWorld.
That was SeaWorld. I'm one of the few people who still like SeaWorld. Alex isn't a fan, are you?
No SeaWorld.
Oh, we like we've got passes, so we go periodically, and it's I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff, but that one is one that story about the Emily Morgan. I had no idea. That's really interesting because it's such a landmark, and it's near the Alamo, so you would think that the Alamo's got to be, got to have a ton of these stories, but I've not heard of any. I'm sure you have. So that, So the Emily Morgan was one. What was the other one you were going to mention?
Of course, we have to have the Alamo on the tour. That one, we tell our stories. We tell, like, I think the parts that people don't know. We try to make it a little bit interesting, but everybody covers the Alamo, so we don't spend too much time on it. I like the real buildings around it. But that was the Emily Morgan was Alex's favorite building. Mine is the Sheraton Gunter Hotel downtown on Houston Street.
Yeah.
There had been a hotel in that area, on that block, on that ground, since 1837. So it's a very old property. It was actually the headquarters for the Confederate Army at one point as well. So a lot of heavy energies there. And have you heard of the old blues man, Robert Johnson? He's the guy that sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads.
Yeah.
Yes.
He, after supposedly selling his soul in Louisiana, went straight to San Antonio, booked a room at the Gunter Hotel, and 3 days later came out with the album that invented the blues riff and made him super famous.
Wow.
And that was at the Gunter. I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah. He's supposedly haunting their bar there. They've got an old speakeasy style bar. And at night, people will hear like some blues guitar come out of nowhere.
No cover charge, right? That's free.
No cover charge.
Is that on the pub crawl?
That currently is just on the Ghost Walk. However, we're reworking the pub crawl, and the Gunter has expressed interest in us coming to their bar. So it may be on the pub crawl very soon.
That's pretty cool.
And not that I'm a skeptic. I've never seen a ghost. I honestly don't want to see a ghost because this conversation is sort of creeping me out a little bit because I am a big ninny. I am a big ninny. But I'm assuming the pub crawl, you don't let your guests get drunk, right? I mean, so to the point where they're seeing things that you're like, that's just the booze talking.
Well, we try to I'm a big believer in freedom. We try to give them that so we don't have any say in it. So what we do is we don't include any drinks in the pub crawl. Okay. We just include drink specials. So then if they decide that they want to imbibe, they can do it a wee bit cheaper.
Yeah, and if people don't, then they save the money. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So we kind of set it up to where if you are a designated driver, you can still have a good time, and if you're a heavy drinker, you can still have a good time.
Okay,
that works.
But within the Gunter, the one thing I really wanted to get to, the reason it's my favorite, is because of a murder in 1965. It was originally called the Bloody Room Massacre until it was discovered that only one person was killed. So I did a little bit more research because I like to be accurate. I don't want to call something a massacre if only one person's killed. So 5 years ago, I coined the phrase "the meat grinder murder."
Oh, geez.
For that murder. And when they found the room, they couldn't believe that the blood had come from just one person. But this man had actually stabbed a woman to death. He'd chopped her into pieces and then ran her through a meat grinder, an industrial one he bought at Sears and Roebuck, and flushed her down the toilet.
Oh, my gosh.
And that left the room, so blood-drenched, they thought it had to be many people.
Oh, my gosh.
Both Walter Emmerich and the mysterious woman he murdered are seen haunting that hotel on the 6th floor. So that just gruesome murder nobody knows about in San Antonio. The heart-wrenching haunting that comes after that. Not only is that poor woman stuck there haunting, but her murderer is stuck there with her. And that just is a great narrative to me.
Yeah, and that would kind of suck if you're, eternity with that guy. That would be horrible. I don't know if there's revenge in the afterlife, but you would hope so, right? This person would be able to get back at that one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So is this a room they still rent? I hope not.
Well, it happened in room 636, which is still rented.
Oh gosh.
However, after the murder, in order to kind of separate themselves from the murder, the hotel renovated that floor. They ended up chopping up some of the rather large suites into more small economy suites. So 636 is in 2 or 3 rooms now.
Oh,
they also inverted the numbers on that floor. So you wouldn't actually, 636 is no longer actually 636 at all. But we do get reports from all over the 6th floor. So I don't believe it's attached to just the one room.
That is creepy.
We're not staying on the 6th floor.
That's creepy, man. I mean, San Antonio, I mean, this is an old city. It's 301, I guess, years old. Melissa and I grew up in and around New Orleans, and that celebrated its 300th birthday last year as well. A lot of people talk about how haunted New Orleans is, but how would you compare San Antonio? What makes it unique in that kind of space, I guess?
There's a culture here that I don't think you can find anywhere else. Part of the reason that New Orleans is so special is its culture, and its culture is a huge melting pot. They have French, Spanish, Italian, German influence, the Cajuns influenced, of course, and they were originally Acadians from North Canada, I believe. Mm-hmm. We kind of, I think, have that same melting pot of cultures here. And it's tracked down throughout our history. People know about the Battle of the Alamo, and they think why downtown is so haunted. There were 7 different battles in San Antonio, including the Battle of Salado in 1842, in which Santa Anna tried to regain Texas from Mexico, for Mexico. And he lost again. And that happened in San Antonio as well. People don't know about that. And we've been passed around, the original Six Flags was called Six Flags Over Texas because we did have 6 different countries ruling us at different points in time. And I think that cultural melting pot has really lended to the city and how special it is.
Is there a typical, I'll call client, I guess, is there a typical client or customer or someone who's looking for the tour that you've seen, or are y'all getting, a mix?
It's a mix. It's typically it is tourists from out of town who want something different to do. But we'll get someone who's, let's say a family member passed away, and they're just looking to connect with the unknown, the other side. That's always sad, but we get a few of those stories. We get some people who I don't know. This is that water thing again, but usually they'll tell me they were in the bathtub, and then they saw an image of their husband or their wife who had passed away several years later, and they've been a believer in paranormal ever since then. So we get those. We also get the extreme investigators, the people who have all their equipment and they want to know every haunted building in San Antonio so they can knock them all out in 2 days.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We get a mix of everybody, but my favorite, I love the tourists because I love sharing how special our city is with other people.
Yeah.
And I love the people who've had personal experiences with hauntings of loved ones, because you feel like you're helping them out, giving them a little bit of closure in a way.
So during during the walking tours and I don't even know where I was going. I'm going with this question. I guess what's popping into my mind is all the different types of things I've heard either on coast to coast.
All the different types of ghosts.
Yeah, all the different types of ghosts is out there. But I've seen, things where they talk about these orbs and they talk about, just like cold winds and all these other kind of things. what do you think drives some of that? I mean, you've been researching this for a long time. Why would ghosts appear, I guess, in different forms? What's the thing behind that?
I think it's a different collection of energies. For instance, ghosts are thought to sometimes draw energy from the room. So that would explain a cold spot. They're drawing that thermal energy from that area they're occupying. They've even been known to drain your phone battery if it's 100%, and then, oh no, my phone just died, and now a haunting happens. They've stolen that energy from your phone.
Wow.
As far as orbs and other light anomalies, always bring, if you're paranormally investigating, always bring a battery bank.
And don't bring it in with you.
That's right.
No. Leave it in the car. As far as light anomalies, that would be another type of collection of energy. Instead of drawing energy from the room, those apparitions seem to have their own energy, like maybe they're haunting their own house, so they already have a lot of personal energy there, and then it just builds up over time. And when it builds up, light is a form of energy as well. So then it can do things like build up into the shape of an orb, and there's your collection of energy.
I have a quick question. Hopefully you can answer it or lead me to where I can find the answer. I was heard or read that usually when somebody that ghost spirits usually haunt where they've died, that they don't leave from the place where they've died. And that's usually where they'll be haunting, is where, their last place of residence or where they did pass away. Is that true?
That can be common, but think about how many people after they pass away, there's reports of them haunting their house when they actually passed away in a hospital.
Okay.
I think it's if they have a strong connection to an area, and that can be something emotionally traumatic. Like, let's say something terrible happened, like a person got murdered in an area. That's so emotionally traumatic, that's going to leave a little bit of an energy there, and maybe that's where they haunt.
Okay.
Or let's just say someone lived in the same house for 40 years. They're going to be so attached to that house that even if they die in a hospital, they'll probably haunt at the house. Ghosts can also seem to follow objects. The Victoria's Black Swan Inn has a lot of old artifacts from deceased persons that have been brought there. And we seem to get more and more ghosts as the years go by. So I think that's correlated. Those people are attached to their family heirlooms, so their spirits follow those objects in death to the Black Swan Inn.
Okay.
That'll keep you from shopping in antique stores right there.
Yeah, we're gonna go to we're gonna go to the little ones we see in the little small towns that don't have the expensive stuff.
Oh, jeez.
But then again, it's not really expensive stuff, and some is attached to a mirror, a book. It could be anything, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
There was a thing I listened to the other day. The guy was being interviewed, and he was talking about, this is a different podcast, and they were talking about Walt Disney's ghost, and that he is at Disneyland at the firehouse in his old apartment, and you can get that cold feeling supposedly in the room and that kind of stuff. And it's sort of like, well, some of those ghosts you might want to meet and ask some questions, and some of them, because you think Walt Disney must have been a great guy, but some
Walt
of these
wouldn't scare me.
Yeah, but you think some of these you want to stay as far away from as possible.
Maybe that's why the areas of the apartment are roped off.
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, Walt Disney is an interesting example because you do want to talk to him, but also he was an anti-Semitic. So you're like, I don't know.
Oh, maybe not, huh? Who knows? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. So one of the things that popped in my mind, I guess, question-wise, was, are there any places that you've seen, I guess, in all the years of doing this, that surprised you, that there was some type of, story associated with it or experience associated with it that you wouldn't have thought otherwise made any sense?
Yeah, let me think about that one for a second.
Yeah, because you can think about like hotels and, like we talk about the Alamo and hospitals. You kind of think, yeah, maybe there's some creepy stuff that could happen. But I don't know. I'm just curious because it's a big city and it's got a ton of history, like you said.
The one I think that surprised me was the Bonham Exchange. The old LGBTQ bar downtown.
Okay.
I was like, okay, so why would a ghost haunt a gay bar, right? But it turns out that was built in the late 1800s as a meeting hall and a gym for a German fitness society called Turn Verein. And it's gone through a lot of changes. They had all their German markings and stuff removed during World War II for obvious reasons. And for a while there was a Jewish temple there. Now, of course, it's a nightclub and has been for quite some time. And I think kind of a humorous haunting comes from the third floor, the ballroom. There'll be a haunting up there called the Lady in Blue. And she's described as a beautiful woman in an elaborate blue Victorian ball gown. She glides across the dance floor, and she allures men by making eye contact with them right before ducking behind the corner and disappearing altogether. She is the most commonly seen ghost in that very old building, but I doubt she has much luck alluring men today, considering it is a gay bar.
That would be unexpected, yeah, I guess. Oh my gosh. Well, y'all have picked, I guess, it's got to be one of the most interesting jobs and fields to be in. And you've had to have met some great people. Are there any folks that have come across, though, that you've been on your tours and stuff that have some, good stories from other places or have brought some interesting, I guess, perceptions or cleared up some misperceptions, I guess, for you guys about what you do?
There's been some people with cool stories, although with cool guests, I want to say we did have a couple celebrities come on our ghost walk. We had Anthony Michael Hall come along and Martin Covey come along from Breakfast Club and The Karate Kid, respectively.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's definitely the era we grew up in, at least on this end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both seem to enjoy the show. But as far as just people with different experiences, anyone who comes from New Orleans has an experience that's very interesting. And then Colorado. In Colorado, there's the hotel. I'm blanking on the name of the hotel right now, but there's the hotel that The Shining was based off of.
Oh yeah,
and they do a ghost tour, and almost everybody who's been on that has a personal experience.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
So that was interesting to me. Is just I thought paranormal activity was so rare that's why we can't prove it, right? You're not going to go to one place and have an experience every single time, unless, of course, you go to the building The Shining was based off of, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going there either.
Yeah, oh well. We watch those filming location videos on YouTube, right? So maybe that's the best way to experience it. We'll just watch the YouTubers. Who knows? Oh gosh.
One of the things I was coming to say, we used to live in South Carolina for a while, and one of our favorite cities to go visit was Charleston. And Charleston reminded us a lot of New Orleans. And we took a carriage tour from I think it was called the Red Barn. We always went to the Red Barn. Mm-hmm. And they told us that the top 3 haunted cities were Salem, Charleston, and New Orleans. I would hasten to say that San Antonio's got to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I would think so. If not higher up.
Well, we say on the tour, as far as we can find with our research, we're the only city in the country that still has record of making it illegal to house a prisoner with a ghost in a haunted jail cell. So I think we got a couple of them beat just with that.
Seriously?
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, the Alamo for a while was used as a jail. A portion of it was used as a jail. A portion of it was used as a bar because they had their priorities correct. And,
in this place in this mission.
Well, it was probably long before it was developed into.
Yeah, but
now.
still.
Yeah.
But there were so many hauntings at the Alamo in that jail. The prisoners would complain about it. They'd even some of the townspeople saw ghosts on the outside of the Alamo at the time. So they even published some of those hauntings in the newspaper in the 1930s. So many people had seen it. Eventually, the city of San Antonio declared it cruel and unusual punishment to house prisoners with ghosts, and they built the old Bat Cave jail that you can find some pictures of online.
Oh my God! So that is definite city. What do you call it? Not approval, but city endorsement.
Yes.
Of the haunting of the city. Yeah. Wow. Oh gosh, yeah. We gotta do this. Maybe we'll do this one early evening before it gets dark and come do. Y'all do early day tours, maybe. Probably.
Yeah, do y'all do like morning tours when all the ghosts are like relaxed somewhere?
They're tired after.
They're tired after haunting everybody the night before.
As far as I know, our 8:00 ghost walk is actually the earliest ghost tour in San Antonio. So just come during the summer; it'll be daylight out for most.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah, right now, not so much.
No, we need to do this. I love the history of the city. The city's got such a great history.
Oh, I love the history too, but
yeah, it'd be cool.
The stories sort of creep me out.
Well, it's you're learning stuff. You're enjoying it with people you get to meet.
Maybe I need to do the pub crawl and imbibe.
Yeah, there's a way to put your toe in the water, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thanks for doing this. This is a lot of great information, and I'm sure people are going to get a kick out of it. If you're listening, everybody, and you've got some stories, share them with us on all the socials, and go out and check out Bad Wolf Ghost Tour. See, I can't talk still. I'm still nervous. So from
Ghost has your tongue?
Yes.
Actually, I just thought of this. You know what? For your listeners, if you guys use coupon code BEYOND when you check out online, I'll give you $1 off your tickets. So
oh, cool.
That's for listeners of this podcast.
And beyond has like a double meaning. So
double entendre,
beyond the whatever. I don't know. What do you call it?
Beyond earthly.
The veil of whatever. Spiritual. Boy,
beyond the boring. We're
beyond the boring. There you go.
Yeah, we suck at promotion, so we're not good at this.
Sharper first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, but so how do people find you guys? How do they follow you online? Give us all the details.
We've got Instagram, Facebook, Bad Wolf Ghost Tours. It's best to check our website. We do new and exciting things and add cool dates and such all the time. That's just badwolfghosttours.com. And we'll post everything there on our calendar and all that jazz.
So Halloween's a big time.
Austin.
I'm sorry. Could you say it again?
I said, and as a reminder, we're in both San Antonio and Austin. So.
Oh, Austin. Okay.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we launched our Austin Haunted Pub Crawl last year, so it's about a year for doing that now.
I'm curious. Is there a difference between San Antonio and Austin in terms of either the groups you get or the types of stories or anything?
Definitely the groups.
How did I know that was going to be the first answer?
Our Austin Haunted Pub Crawl is very close to 6th Street.
Yeah.
So we get a ton of bachelorette parties. And just in general, a younger crowd.
Yeah.
I think that's just representative of the city.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. And we'll definitely put the links out there and everything. In terms of scheduling, because I'd imagine that there's a limited number of slots in each tour, how far in advance should people check on you and to see what's scheduled and when and to get their tickets?
We do accept reservations all the way up to the same day of the tour. However, we recommend reserving as soon as possible because we do sell out. We have a pretty great cancellation policy. We'll give you a full refund even all the way up to the day before the tour, which a lot of companies don't do any refunds at all. We also, even if you call us on the day of the tour, we unfortunately can't give you a refund, but we're going to do something nobody else does, and we're going to save those tickets for you to use at a later date whenever you like.
Oh, that's cool.
There's really no risk in signing up early. I recommend signing up early as you can.
Yeah, that's a really good deal. We've done some other stuff, and you don't have that opportunity. So yeah, thanks for doing that. And thanks both of y'all for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun. We need to do this again when maybe we need to we're sitting here in our extra bedroom with all the lights on. Maybe we need to crank the lights down, put some candles, and talk about spooky stuff again another day.
You can do that by yourself.
I'm saying this like I'm brave. Yeah. I'm really not.
He's really not.
Anytime y'all want a ghost story, ghost tour, hit us up. But if you want a ghost story for the podcast at any point, give us a call. I've always got one in the back pocket.
Oh, that awesome. Sounds like a plan, and we'll definitely do that. So again, everybody, if you're listening, check out Bad Wolf Ghost Tours. We'll put the links out there on the show and share your stories because this is going to be our Halloween episode for the first time. We're going to put it out the weekend before Halloween this year in 2019. But the ghosts are around forever. So even if you listen to this in 2020, they'll still be there. And it'll be a lot of fun. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you around the Alamo City.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beyond the Riverwalk. Send your comments, questions, and suggestions to podcast@beyondriverwalk.com. As always, subscriptions to our show are free and available wherever you find podcasts, as well as on our website. Until next week, join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more conversations about our community.
What happened?
Hello?
Awesome.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. I was just checking.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I was checking the network connection, and I think we're better now. Yeah, whatever.
We have weird corners.
Maybe it's a ghost. Who knows?
It's a ghost.
Oh, well. So we'll do a quick intro.
It's definitely a ghost.
Yeah. Please don't tell me that.